Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to another episode of the Amateur Otaku podcast. I am filling in as host today again. My name is Michael Thomas, present Mike, if you will. Joining me as always is co-host of the Amateur Otaku, Isaac Wolf, the ultra punster. How's it going, Isaac?
It's going good. It's a bit tired, but I'm going good.
You gotta shake that tiredness off, man. We're on episode 99 of My Hero. This is what, the 11th review we've done, I think.
Yeah.
Wake up, dude.
And
Wake up like Deku's
strong.
quirks. Keep going strong.
Yeah, so much to do. So much to do, so little time.
Joining us again is our good friend Leo Rydel from Geekly Goods. Leo, you joined us last week. We're on part 2 of this whole blackwhip saga. First of all, how have you been, and what are your thoughts on Deku's new abilities?
Oh man, been good. Lately, I've been playing Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS5, and I am loving it.
Such a good game.
Yeah, I got the PS5 version of Spider-Man in there, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna go back to that after playing Miles Morales right now. But man, this week's episode was so good. So good. Another great episode, but we had said it right before the podcast. I had one little gripe that maybe I'll talk about a little bit later, but the episode was really cool. Like, I think that it did show the faith that Uraraka has in Deku, kind of just allowing him to handle himself while she went to back up the other team members. And it just shows Deku's independence, even though what happened with Blackwhip happened, he was still so confident in being able to at least still use One For All at a smaller capacity and give him enough against what was that dude's name? Shinso?
Yeah, Shinso.
Yeah, Shinso. He interesting character. He definitely hasn't progressed as far as the rest of them, but Aizawa made such a good point in the episode when he said, well, the other heroes have like so much experience with other things, especially 1A. I mean, all the tragedies they've been through so far. I mean, those villains struck them like in their training at the beginning, and ever since it's just been a domino effect on them. The poor kids.
Yeah, but it's like every week something happens to those kids.
It's insane. It's a villain of the week, man. Like attacking them. It's a lot. But it was a good episode. Really, really dug this one. But I'll get to my gripe about it a little bit later.
Sure. Yeah. So this picks up right after the last episode. So Aizawa gives them the go-ahead to continue the match for some reason. I don't understand why. But this episode is called Our Brawl. So it's the continuation of the 5th match in the joint training arc. Probably the last episode, really, of this arc as well. So it's all kind of wrapping up here. Like Leo said, Deku and Uraraka have a mutual trust where he trusts her to go help out the rest of his team, and she trusts him to handle Shinso. And I like you said, how Deku remembered everything he learned. Like, all of those flashbacks came flooding in from the first season, which was really awesome. And even him going back to 8%, which is something he was able to increase at the end of season 3, instead of his usual 20%, I thought was nice, showing that Deku isn't afraid to go back to the basics. And for Shinso, a character who doesn't have any formal hero training, the basics were good enough. So I thought it was a good call by Deku to try and, scale back a little bit.
Yeah.
Isaac, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Well, first of all, it was the whole flashback scene. I can admit that I got literally him recalling all that. I got literal goosebumps when I saw that one. Also, Eraserhead just keeps being one of my favorite characters with how cynical he is, and the whole line from All Might, you're nicer than you look. You're much nicer than you look. But yeah, apparently, you know that. I can't recall the exact wording, but you know this scene I'm talking about, which gave me a chuckle. And then we also, like we talked about last year, it gave me a extreme chuckle about how the anime team that makes the anime seems to be quite a fan of current couple, especially in the last scene or so when Uraraka got teased, so to speak, and get all red in the face, which also gave me a big chuckle.
Yeah. Go ahead, Leo.
Aizawa in this episode is great. I just like that he saw the passion in their faces still. Was like, look, they still want to do it, so he allowed them to continue the match, even though the more safe thing to do would be to end the match. But he at least saw that they were passionate about it and let them continue.
Yeah, well, with Aizawa, it's mainly for the jokes, but it's like he has the power to turn off any of their quirks. So if Deku goes haywire again, he could just literally stare at him and just end it right there. So yeah, I think he was a responsible adult. He knew they had it under control.
Yep.
I do appreciate him and All Might, like both of their concerns. All Might wanted to end it, which I understand why he'd want to, especially since he knows what's going on with One for All, right? He knows about the vestiges. As far as everybody else is concerned, Deku just has this random power that just exploded, which it's always interesting to see how that's gonna play out through the rest of the show, especially this season. Like Bakugo, Todoroki, Uraraka, they all saw that, right? How long can you keep One for All under wraps when you have something that big happen and come out of nowhere?
Yeah, for real. And I love how Bakugo was this episode. Like he was just quiet, studying it, but it didn't seem like it was to the point of like, oh, he's mad that Deku has the power. It's more so like he's kind of almost looking out for him, it feels like, and we figure out later on in the story. I won't jump too forward, but Bakugo does make some progressions, but it was a nice change from his usual demeanor.
Right, yeah.
And well placed.
For sure. Isaac, you keep harping on this Uraraka Deku ship. Are you a fan of it, or?
I just find it so fucking hilarious with these two specific episodes and how blatant the animators are. That's why I pointed that out.
Kind of reminded me of Hinata and Naruto when she like rushed in to help him with pain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that love, bro. She loved him enough to try damn near lose her life.
That moment right there is what made us all fall in love with Hinata. She was already a good character, but dang.
Dude, from then on, it's like, yep, Hinata is like top tier level.
Best girl in the series, unquestioned.
Yep. Not Sakura.
We're not going to take shots at Sakura because Brandon's not here to defend her.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, I don't think any of us like.
Oh, by the way, guys, Brandon's not here. He will be back one day, but we're filling in for him, carrying this.
Hopefully next week.
Yeah, hopefully, because we have another arc starting up soon, and that'll be exciting, I feel.
Yeah, that next arc animated is going to be so good.
For sure. But staying on this episode, this one adapted 3 manga chapters. So if they adapt 3 chapters for next week, we will get the new arc starting, maybe a new intro. I wouldn't put it past them to pad this one out a little bit. With a little filler in next week, so don't be surprised if that happens. But yeah, so we mentioned earlier, especially you, Leo, you mentioned Deku like trying to control blackwhip. Do you guys think that was handled pretty well, or do you think he kind of gained a little control too quickly, considering he just had it like 2 minutes ago and now he's able to use it at will?
Certainly controlled too quickly, and that was my gripe for this episode. It just happens too fast. I understand. Like with One for All, it was 9 months of training. Like 9 months he had to train his body. Then he had to train to spread it around his body because let's be real, when he was first using it, he was hurting himself.
Right.
So it's like there was a learning curve there. And I think the black whip just kind of naturally fell into his hands. And I get it. I understand. But I think it could have taken a little bit longer. Maybe he could have beat him without black whip. I mean, maybe he could have just used shoot style. Like, I don't know. I just don't think him learning black whip that fast made a lot of sense to me when One for All takes so long.
Yeah, it didn't have that much of an effect on the story either. Like, he used black whip once, but that was a situation where he could have just smashed the debris with like a 8% kick.
Right.
So
I'm like, why did he have to do that?
Yeah, I agree.
Because it was an epic moment. It was obviously a visual epic moment. But from a story perspective, you're absolutely right that it was quite pointless.
So you think they went for the hype instead of, actual story progression, I guess?
Yes. A little, yeah. Because I think that it was a play on Deku being so quick and analytical and able to, think on his feet. But I just think that was a little too much for now. I mean, if he had used shoot style and kind of had anticipated that happening, I could see that still rolling along the same lines of being intelligent and keen in that sense. But I don't know. The black whip thing was just like, oh, we got to be showy, guys. Like,
right. Yeah, I get you. I get what they wanted to do, and I get your point of maybe they should have held back on that. A part of me knows why they wanted to do that, though, because mild spoilers, guys. We probably ain't seeing Deku for another 6 episodes. Once we get into the next storyline. So they probably wanted to have that exclamation point. But one thing that I do appreciate about episode 99 going into episode 100 of the series is that it did kind of like soft reset One for All for Deku, right? 100 episodes later, he still has to learn how to control One for All, which I appreciate that he didn't like max out, because after that fight with Overhaul last season, it's like, we know what Deku looks like at 100%. Are we really going to have to wait for him to power up again after seeing what it looked like with Eri?
That was incredible, bro.
Yeah, it was a great moment. The problem, though, is we saw what 100% Deku looked like when he was still at 20%. So throwing this curveball of Black Whip and the other quirks that follow kind of resets our expectations to where you don't necessarily know what he's going to look like once he masters this power. And I think it's like a soft reboot, really, for the series going into episode 100, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point, because to be honest with you, from a storytelling perspective, this could have all ended after Chisaki.
Right.
I mean, that could have been the last episode. Oh, you saw how it looked at 100%. Now this kid just kind of goes on to master it. They could have completely ended the story right there and been a short anime. Exactly. But, I mean, it is a bit of a reset button where we can kind of start our expectations over, kind of reboot what we ideally see 100% One for All look like. Because, I mean, that was just a super strength. Imagine when he unlocks more Black Whip, what it's going to look like. It's another progression in the finale.
Honestly, you could see this story arcs moving forward, sort of like Shippuden, and previously it was Naruto to some extent, going back to the Naruto comparison.
Yeah, so we're comparing it to Naruto a lot lately. But one thing that Leo just mentioned, we could have ended it on the Chisaki Overhaul arc, right? One thing that I always had an issue with Naruto is that after Naruto, learned Sage Mode and fought Pain, he was kind of stagnant as a character. Like, he kept powering up, but him wanting to become the best ninja in the Leaf Village was already accomplished. And so he kind of just stayed the same for the next 150 or so episodes until the series ended. Whereas throwing this curveball here, Deku never achieved 100% of One for All without Eri's help. And now recalibrating what the power looks like, I think that bodes well for the series, where he won't get as stagnant as Naruto did later on in the series.
Oh man, poor Naruto. Yeah, the last like 100 episodes, they dragged on. Let's be real. That Pain right after he beat Pain, that was like epic as hell. You could have ended the series like right there, to be honest.
Right. And as the show went on, like you got really into Sasuke, right, and Itachi. Like the show was still good and enjoyable, but as far as Naruto specifically as the character, that was it for him, and it's kind of a shame. And I think we're gonna avoid that with Midoriya, but we'll see.
Total spoilers right now, but when Naruto went into the like, we all seen all of Naruto, right?
Yeah.
Do y'all mind if I spoil?
I can put a spoiler timestamp. Yeah.
Okay, I won't spoil too much.
that-
But let's just say Naruto Shippuden gets pretty cluttered towards the end. Like, this is a little off course of what I thought I was getting in the initial package here.
Guys, just for comparison's sake, watch the intro for Naruto, like the #1 intro for the original Naruto, and then watch the intro for Naruto Shippuden season 16. It doesn't even look like the same show. It's hilarious.
Nah.
Yeah.
The show has progressed.
That's the thing that I do. So like I watched the first OP of One Piece and then the current OP of One Piece just to see how different it is. It does not look like the same show at all. And not watching One Piece, I am floored by what I'm watching.
Are you caught up on One Piece?
Not at all. Never seen it. It's just like when the show runs that long, I want to see how ridiculous it gets. And one of the easiest ways to do that is watch first intro, last intro. They look nothing alike.
Yeah.
I'm seriously wondering how Netflix is going to handle the live action adaptation of One Piece, but that's very different over there.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's going to work.
I mean,
I've given up on that.
Yeah. I mean, Cowboy Bebop or Sword Art Online, that could work, but One Piece, that's sort of like Pirates of Caribbean and the Looney Tunes on crack.
You see, that was the pitch that sold me on One Piece. All right, I'm starting this show soon.
Yeah, it's interesting to say the least.
Guys,
and it has like 4 years to go at minimum last time I checked. But yeah, let's continue with my hero.
So
Deku had his moment this episode, that's for sure.
Yeah, I love that too. And I love how he had his chance to shine, but also going back to Eraserhead and how good he is as a teacher, like encouraging Shinso, recognizing where he is. Like these kids have been in UA, which feels like a year, but it's probably only been like 4 or 5 months. They've been in UA training in the hero course, and he hasn't. And all things considered, he still gave Deku a tough time. And then Class A, when he was on their team, he was the reason they won that first match.
Yep.
I just love how Aizawa was able to recognize that and use that as a way to encourage Shinso, even though he knows he still couldn't beat Midoriya the second time.
Nah, and he doesn't have, the training. He doesn't have the experience. And even only in 4 or 5 months, 1A and 1B are like remarkably, like they're very considerably high in terms of their abilities.
That's right.
Like so, I believe they're unnaturally further than the other classes from before them.
They are, because if you remember back to season 3, season 3, when they took their provisional licenses, they were a bunch of first years, and first years usually never pass, and their entire class passed, except for Bakugo and Todoroki. And so, they're advanced, like super advanced compared to everyone else. That brings up a good point, though, for you guys. I have a question. With this arc wrapping up, what are your impressions of Class B? They were always background characters. This is the first time we've actually made them the focus, where they've won a couple of matches. They even tied with Todoroki and Ida. What are your thoughts on Class B, as supporting characters to Class A?
It could have been a much the fact that they gave such a match for Class A, even though they don't have the same experience, speaks volume as the potential of them as heroes, I would argue.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I really like getting to see 1B work together because it was always kind of this, outfield look of Class 1B. Like you were saying, they were background characters. We never really got to we never got to really see much of them using their powers in a team-like setting. And I thought it was cool that even though maybe they weren't like attacked by villains as much as 1A, they still were able to train their quirks to be on par with them. I mean, let's be real. Like, Deku could have, like, if that would have went out of control and knocked him out, they were screwed.
Yep.
So, I mean, 1B could have easily won that fight if Deku just, went so out of control that he knocked himself out or something. It's like, okay, then that gives the situation over to Class 1B. They're very on par with them. And I thought it was cool when, what's his name? Oh, freak guy that copies quirks.
Oh yeah,
Monoma. As soon as he like had the one for all like zapping, I was like, nah, Deku, he does not have the strength. There's no way he could copy that. I thought that was like a cool moment as well.
Yeah, that was actually like this had a lot of callbacks to season 1, which like Isaac said earlier, it gives you chills because again, we're on episode 99. And only reason I'm harping on that is we've been with this show for over 5 years now, almost 100 episodes. You now have that sense of nostalgia for season 1. And so when he remembers All Might telling him your arms are going to pop off if you can't handle that quirk, it's like Deku didn't even care about the match anymore. He didn't want this kid to die.
Right.
Which speaks to his character, but it's also interesting how we didn't know this up until this point. Monoma can't copy every single quirk, which is interesting.
I like that. I mean, like One for All is supposed to be this kind of mystical passing of the torch quirk. Like not just anybody can absorb. Stain couldn't. So it's like it wouldn't make much sense if he was able to copy.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice addition to throw that in there. It also saves Deku and All Might from having some explaining to do with how that quirk works.
Ooh, for real.
That's a little plot armor right there for Midoriya.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that was convenient. Lucky.
Even in movies, especially the second one.
That second movie makes way more sense with the context we have here now. We can talk about that. I don't want to spoil that movie just in case you guys haven't had a chance to see it yet. But Heroes Rising and this current arc connect and cross over a lot more than we thought. So watch this arc first before you watch Heroes Rising.
Yeah, because it could happen right after, to be honest.
Honestly, it feels like it takes place like right after this episode. Well, after probably the next episode in the timeline.
I wish that was canon. It was just that. What a movie.
So good. Cinema.
For real, bro. And it would honestly line up with how Bakugo is acting right now. And
it lines up well with this arc. That's what I'm saying. Like once, I think after next episode, you can easily just slide it into the timeline right after episode 100.
Yeah, I wonder if they're doing something special for the 100th episode. Maybe the double length one or something. But then again, are they really celebrating 100 episode like Western TV shows? Though I can't recall an anime where they do that.
If it's some special filler, man, I kind of wish they would just go right into the next arc. But I know they got to stretch things out.
That's the problem with anime. Like, you would think, oh yeah, do something special for episode 100, but then it's like, no, nobody wants filler, so just move on. maybe have an OVA at the end of the season or something. But don't waste valuable airtime, pushing off MVA, the next arc everybody's been waiting for. But
yeah,
maybe they could do something on the Funimation YouTube channel. That would be nice.
I mean, one special could be a double-length episode. That could be something.
That would be wild.
A what?
Instead of a 20 minutes episode, you have a 40 minutes episode.
Oh yeah, that'd be tight. And especially if it was MVA as the first as a 40-minute episode intro, man, I would love that.
That would be awesome. Guys, did we have any other thoughts for episode 99 Hour Brawl, or do y'all want to move on to this manga chapter?
Let's go nerdy on I say let's go nerdy on the manga chapter.
All right. Leo, anything?
Good episode. This was another great episode. Can't wait for the next one. I think it will be filler though. Y'all right. It's probably gonna be filler.
It's gonna be the Deku all might go back to their secret room and have a conversation about what just happened. And it's gonna be Midoriya. Exactly. Midoriya Shonen, what happened with your quirk out there and it's gonna be a flashbacks and it's gonna be fun, but y'all know what's coming.
No MVA till like 1 or 2 episodes later.
101 probably. I would give it that. Maybe the episode after. We'll see. But Isaac, can you throw up the graphic, please, for spoilers? Spoiler alert, guys, for the My Hero Academia manga. If you are not caught up, this is where you guys turn off the video. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week, episode 100. Stay plus ultra.
Wee woo, wee woo. Spoiler alert.
All right, so chapter 315 is called Platitudes. Okay, we pick up Deku is still fighting Lady Nagant, and a lot of stuff happened in this chapter. I was kind of on the edge of my seat with this one. We find out what Shizuki's doing with Lady Nagant. He's just helping her identify Midoriya. We also see Deku using Fajin, which is the newest quirk he's unlocked, and we got information on that. I know we had some questions on what it did. Fajin is basically, you know how Black Panther's suit stores kinetic energy and then he can release it for a powerful attack? That's what Fajin is. So we got that question answered. And he kind of talk no jutsus his way to convincing Lady Nagant to back off. Because she sees he has the heart of a hero, just like Stain did, which I thought was a really great touch. And then she kind of blows up at the end of this. Isaac, can you explain why they just blew up our newest waifu?
Because it looks like All for One have sort of like a going back to your why my hero needed the Sue Squad point. It looked like he planted a quote-unquote bomb in her. In lack of better terms.
Yeah, like she just blows up in his arms, and you just see All for One laughing. This was a twisted chapter, and like we don't know if she's dead. Hawks kind of swoops in. One thing to note that he does have a couple of feathers. Maybe they're slowly growing back. We've had a question about that for like the last 6 chapters. If Hawks had his wings.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, I like him coming in for the save at the end. But yeah, Leah, what did you think of All for One basically having a contingency if she betrayed him?
Oh my gosh. It feels very All for One, very dark, very edgy. I thought it was pretty crazy how Chisaki had progressed as a character, if you will. I mean, he was pretty much just like mentally torn that his plan had gotten foiled by Midoriya anyway. And I'm just like, I remember at the beginning of the chapter, it's like a kid has a serious case of hero syndrome. And then we just see him using full 100%. with the new Fajin, and man, it was so cool. He's like fast as a speeding bullet, like just speeding around. Like, what a cool ability to be able to combine these quirks. He's finally getting a hold of some of these quirks from the other Vestiges guys, and it looks absolutely amazing. Amazing. Like, I cannot wait to see this animated. It's awesome. I like the Fajin combination, and he's like jumping around on the buildings and such. Really, really cool. But really dark and twisted ending there. I like that because at this point, like he said it was the last arc. Okay, yeah, show us who All for One really is then. Like, and he's just twisted as hell. Like that is so messed up. And the fact that she just exploded in the middle, like MHA getting dark, y'all.
Yeah,
like My Hero Academia is starting to turn this my hero. Like.
That's what's so funny about this entire chapter. It's like there is no MHA anymore. It's just MH. It's just my hero at this point. And so going back to what Isaac was saying about like having a Shippuden style, soft relaunch of the series, I don't know. It might be something they can toy around with. It hasn't felt like My Hero Academia for a long time. So I think we're kind of already in that Shippuden era, if you will. But yeah, so Deku has like this pseudo 100%, which again, the Fajin is letting him store up that energy and release it at a higher rate. Do you think that power is broken? Because yeah, he's faster than a speeding bullet, and he's basically Superman with Spider-Man webs now.
Yeah, I mean, dude. Go ahead, Isaac.
I was just gonna say yeah. So go on, Leo.
Well, I was wondering, like, we don't really see any drawbacks to using Fajin. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It is just kind of like a false 100%. My question is, what happens when the entire quirk is at 100% and he's using that?
That was my next question for you guys. Like, using what he's using, like what, 45%?
Yeah,
and that allowed him to do a pseudo 100% with Fajin. What does 100% with Fajin look like? It's
200%.
It's devastating, right? And so that's something to keep an eye on. Also, I'm losing track. Did he awake? Was that the last quirk?
Hold on. So there's the strength, black whip, Fajin float, smoke screen. That's 5.
So he's got one more, right? Oh, danger sense.
Danger sense, that's 6. So I think he has one more. Because it's been the 9 users, All Might and the. Oh no, that would be it.
Yeah, because All Might didn't have a quirk. Deku doesn't have a quirk, and One for All is the quirk from the first user.
Yeah, the pass on. The pass on is the quirk from him.
Right. So that was
all of them.
That's all of them. That's. It's funny how
this is Spider-Man.
It's funny how the last episode was like, you got a long road ahead of you. You've got 6 more additional quirks, and in the manga, he just unleashed the last one, which is the most powerful one yet.
So, okay, he's more like Miles Morales then with the energy.
Yeah, very Miles Morales. And, Horikoshi is a huge fan of Spider-Man. That's his favorite superhero. So we're seeing the influences there. I wonder if he did Fajin. He planned that out after watching Spider-Verse a few years ago. He's like, I'll just put that note here.
Wouldn't be surprised.
We're just going to put a pin in that.
One.
Yeah. So I don't want to keep you guys speculating. I kind of want to just review the chapter, but like we're talking about how dark it's getting and how he did have a bomb implanted in Lady Nagant. What do you guys think is his next measure? Because Leo, you just said earlier, we want to see, if we're going to the end of the series, we want to see, All for One. We want to see his master plan. This entire time, he's been sending lackeys, even Shigaraki, his underlings to do his bidding. The assassin who was powerful enough to take down Midoriya, he just blew up. So what do you guys think his backup plan would be? Would this be I'll do it myself, or is he going to try and get another assassin to go after him?
I mean, I think we were talking about a Suicide Squad. I think you kind of have that sort of effect with somebody going after Midoriya, like a team of villains that are really powerful, which is when 9 times out of 10, either one of the other big three or all of them will help him out. I'm talking Genis, Hawks, and Endeavor.
Oh yeah,
since they're all like with him, like maybe one of them helps him out. Because I feel like Deku and one more would do a lot of damage, especially if it's Endeavor. Looks like Hawks might be coming to help out.
Yeah, I wonder how effective Hawks can be without his wings.
Right.
And Best Genist, he still hasn't fully recovered either. So it's really going to be on Midoriya and Endeavor to kind of keep Hero Society from crumbling. And we've mentioned this multiple times. I wouldn't be surprised if Bakugo shows up within the next couple chapters.
Yeah.
I think it's time to reintroduce Class A and everyone else from UA, because it's been a good 7-8 chapters. Midoriya has just been with All Might and the big three.
It'd be really cool if all of them came.
I will say this also, speaking about Lady Nagant again. If she survives, I think she starts to help out Deku. But that's if she survives. She might be dead for a while.
I don't know if she's alive.
That's why I put a big if.
Yeah, with Hawks flying in saying no dying on me now, I think there's a chance. A very slim one though.
She exploded. I just feel like after something like that, she kind of is on the edge. And if she doesn't die immediately and maybe later, but I'm just like, dude, I don't know. That was like a full-on explosion, y'all.
Yeah, you're right.
She's all charred and shit. I'm like, well, that would take a miracle.
It's just, I think Lady Nagant, like, she's only been in like 3 or 4 chapters, but I think she is probably the best antagonist, best villain we've had in the series. Like, her motive is understandable. Her backstory is tragic. I think it'd be a waste for her to die right here, honestly, because she's honestly the most interesting female character already in the series. And she's one of the most interesting, if not the best antagonist Deku has faced.
Agreed.
I really like her character a lot. I think it will be a waste to waste her away, but at the same time, if you do, it kind of is just a testament to like One for All, or I'm sorry, All for One, not holding back at all.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of character you are, like you could be killed by him. For sure. I think it will be a crazy move to kind of put him ahead a little bit, but we'll see.
It just takes me back to last year, right? We had the war arc start, and we had Miriko just get maimed by all those no moves. She put up a good fight, but like she lost an arm and she was impaled.
Yeah.
And it's just like every time we get a cool female hero or villain, we gotta do something awful to them.
Man, Miriko was awesome.
Yeah, like once is okay, twice is a pattern, and I'm not really liking the pattern so far.
Yeah, I can agree on that, Rigor, which is why I hope that she survives at least, and it's just because of her reaction that I feel that if she survives, she's helping out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but this was a great chapter. I really dig it. I like the direction we're going. Raising the stakes. Like, if you told me, like, we're on episode 100, right, of the anime. If you told me in the anime, oh yeah, we're just going to randomly have people explode, you are going to be on the edge of your seats every time you read or watch this, I don't think I would have believed you. Like, no disrespect to what the current arc and what My Hero has done in the past, but it never felt like the stakes were that high. I feel like to achieve that, All Might would have had to die fighting All for One back in season 3, but since that didn't happen, our sense of danger kind of went away until Night Eye was killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of really leaning into that where you don't know. Like, I did not expect Lady Nagat to die here. And even if she doesn't, I still didn't expect for her to have a bomb implanted inside of her.
Do you guys think we escaped this series without a death in 1A?
In 1A. I don't think we do.
I don't think so either. I think somebody from 1A could end up sacrificing their life. And maybe since they now know about One for All, like it would be somebody saving Deku, or at least trying to help him and ended up dying or something.
You see, you phrasing it that way makes it seem like there's going to be death flags all over Bakugo when he comes back.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say is that Bakugo was already willing to put his life on the line. And I don't know if I would be too surprised if he was the one to go. Just because I almost feel like he knows and is like the closest to that situation. And he's taken it upon himself to be the protector of One for All.
Right.
And I think if it gets down to maybe potentially Deku losing it or something like that, like, yeah, I think he could end up biting the bullet just to save Deku and One for All, which would make kind of be a number one hero type move.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I also wouldn't put it past, like, I don't think they'd go this crazy, but I wouldn't even put it past Deku himself. You know, the quirk, One for All, only exists, right, to defeat All for One. So if it comes down to he dies in the process of taking down All for One in Shigaraki, I wouldn't be surprised if the series ends with both quirks being wiped out because both hosts are dead. That might be a little too dark. I don't know if My Hero will go that far, but...
Wow.
Didn't I suggest something similar in a video we did a while ago when it comes to that? Because I remember one of us mentioning this.
Yeah, you mentioned it, I think, like last year we were talking about the war arc, right? You mentioned that, and I didn't, like, I heard you. I didn't think it was a real possibility, but the darker things get, the more likely that can happen. You know?
I kind of wish what happened at the end of Heroes Rising was what happened.
Yeah.
Like, almost just like, okay, Deku had to give it to Bakugo, and then if he died then, I think it would be kind of cool. Because it was like, okay, he gave all that up, and then One for All does die with him. Like, it doesn't pass on to Bakugo or anything like that. But if he were to be the one to bite the bullet, it would be kind of cool because that it would be a testament to his character always wanting to help people, even till the end.
Yeah, it goes back to what you were saying before, Leo, though, about wanting a time skip. Like, I'd be cool with that, but it's like, do I really want 16-year-old Midoriya to die? You know, like 24-year-old Midoriya is more believable, but do we really want to end this series where our main protagonist is a kid who had to die to make up for other people's mistakes?
Yeah, but I mean, we think Bakugo could die. That's a little more plausible.
Yeah, Bakugo as a self-sacrifice thing, like we've said, he's already done that. But I don't know, like, what message does that send where Deku, like, in that case, it becomes a curse. It's kind of like mild spoilers for Attack on Titan, but it's like the power of the Titans is kind of a curse.
Whoa. Sorry, man. I gotta yank these headphones out.
You're good. That was it. I said all I needed to say.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, very mild spoilers, and you wouldn't even see past episode 2 or 3 of Attack on Titan. But it's like that, the power of One for All. If it dies with Midoriya, especially this early in his life, I would say it's a curse because every user has died young. Or in All Might's case, he didn't die young, but he lost Night Eye. He lost his master, he ends up losing his successor. And so it's like that would be a brutal way for it to end, even though I think it's plausible. If we had that time skip, I think it would be easier to digest.
I kind of hope he doesn't die, though. Like, I just feel I don't want any of the kids to die. Obviously, I'm not like, well, I want this person to die. Yeah. I just think it could be Bakugo, potentially Kirishima, or someone else to save the whole class type of vibe or something. I don't know. Yeah. But I think I could see his character doing that if it came down to it. But I don't know. I hope none of the kids die, but
I hope not too. What's up?
Honestly, thinking about going through the list of the classmates and just how it would be in terms of characteristic and all that, yes, I would say my guess would actually be Tenya, Bakugo, or this will piss some people off, but Uraraka.
Don't you dare say it. Nope, he went there. Dang it.
You said Uraraka?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I can see Tenya because that kind of ties back to the whole arc with Stain, right? He was never willing to put his life on the line, and that's kind of haunted him. That even showed back up again in the anime of him saving Todoroki, trying to, make up for that mistake and trying to be a selfless hero. I can see that. I'd hate it, but I can see it.
What an episode that was, where he unlocked an even higher velocity version of his quirk. Like, that was amazingly animated. Holy smokes.
Yeah, this season overall has been, I think, probably the best season when it came to the animation department, at least.
Yeah, man. That Ida stuff, oh my God, that was so good.
Yeah, it's like it was the same quality of Heroes Rising, which I appreciate. Yep. You could tell they put the same effort and care into, like, not just Deku and Bakugo scenes, but Ida, for example, getting that major reciprocal boost.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
It was freaking gorgeous.
What a team that was, though. I mean, the top two of the top four on one team. Like, what a great combination that turned out to be. You could see how it will be a draw, because those two being on a team together, that's a lot of power. And as it was said, if Todoroki would have just went all fire at the beginning, it would have been over.
Yeah, that goes back to Endeavor. I think that same episode, him wanting to teach Shoto how to use his fire side. That'll be fun. It'll be interesting as well, because the new movie comes out in 2 months. And it looks like they're all training under Endeavor and Hawks, so maybe they'll touch on that too.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. What's up with that poster though? I'm like, All Might ain't still around. It has like All Might behind Deku, Best Genius behind Baku, which I'm like, isn't he missing in the anime right now? And then it's got Hawks behind, or who's behind Shoto? No, Endeavor behind Shoto. And I'm like, well, how's Best Genius gonna be in this?
You got to think a little further back. They all trained with them. In season 2, Bakugo interned with Best Genius. Deku worked with them, and so it's more of a successor thing, not a who's actually in the movie thing.
Right. That's a little tease though. Like, All Might ain't gonna be here.
You're right. It makes me question what time period that movie's going to take place in, because if it's taking place near the same time as the anime is going to be, Best Genius is kind of missing in action, presumed dead.
But I mean, where would it be in time? Because it looks like it could potentially be quite a bit further down.
I assume it would be during the Endeavor agency mini arc they had, where they trained with Endeavor. So I would assume it would be, I don't even know if it's canon, right? But it'd be 2 arcs ahead. Movie talk. Yeah, I guess we're talking a little bit. The movie comes out in 2 months in Japan. Hopefully we get a trailer for it soon. That'll be a fun trailer reaction.
Gonna have to sail the 7 seas to get a hold of that one.
Arg. Just call me Luffy, right?
I'm a pirate, matey. Sail the seven sea looking for a bite of that gum baby.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
yeah. What, Mike?
No, it's just you've been quiet the last couple minutes. Your thoughts on any? Leo and I have been on a little tangent here. Anything?
I was just gonna say that I'm actually with you that I could see some of the students die, and the reason why I picked those three names is, well, either for the same reason you mentioned, the same with Bakugo and the whole thing with Uraka. It's going back till Naruto again, so to speak. Having that similar type of reaction.
Neji.
Dang it.
Sorry, I just straight spoiled. I am so sorry.
No, I just got over that whole thing with Neji. I'm still mad about that.
Yeah, that was full circle moment for the character and changing the ways of the Hyuga clan.
Yeah.
But you guys see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense for one of those characters to go, especially Ida being like the class leader type. Right. Like, it seems like he would put his life on the line. Because I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, Night Eye, couple others, like the hero side hasn't suffered a ton of losses, like actual deaths. Like, obviously, All Might isn't on the scene anymore, but it's like deaths.
I mean, there was a few heroes that died in that last arc.
Yeah,
none that we really knew
did die.
Yeah, I mean, Midnight did. That was the only one we really knew, but you know.
And what's his name? No, was it only Midnight? Oh, they had the list, huh? Like a bunch of names.
Yeah, a lot of them, like we've seen in passing. None of them were main teachers or characters we've seen before, except for Midnight. So yeah,
there wasn't one other that passed.
There was Native, who I believe it was Native, the one that Ida didn't save from Stain, but Shoto and Deku saved. He ended up dying there anyway.
That sucks.
That sucks. But aside from that, I don't think there's anyone else that I.
The little short grandpa dude,
Gran Torino.
Yeah, Gran Torino survived.
Is he confirmed? Because Brandon mentioned this a couple weeks ago that he was like on his deathbed and he gives Deku the cape.
The cape.
Until I see a funeral, it's an anime. I don't know.
I think Gran Torino. Well, I mean, if he ain't dead, he's on his last breath.
Yeah. It's just I've seen Bakugo get impaled. I've seen Kakashi die and be brought back to life.
Oh my god! What a tease!
So it's like I've seen so many characters look like they should be dead. That's also going back to Lady Nagant. Until I see a funeral for Lady Nagant, I don't know if she's dead or not.
Yo, that Kakashi one, that was like, y'all really mess with us there.
I get why they pulled back because they didn't want to double dip after you know what happened earlier.
Yeah.
That would have been too much to throw at kids, 4 weeks apart. Yeah. Guys, did you have anything else, My Hero Academia, with this chapter or this episode before we wrap things up?
No. I still wouldn't mind a time skip.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if they did do another 6 months or another year or something, like, come on, guys. Like, we have to jump forward just a little bit. Like, a little. I just think things are going rapidly, like, pretty quick.
Yeah.
For only having been, a year and some change. Like, and I guess one could argue there's one at the beginning because Deku in the 9 months and all that, like, whatever.
Yeah, like the biggest progression of time happened off screen, really, when Deku just montaging through his training.
Yeah, and then getting to the next grade. Aren't they like 2 years older?
They should be second years by now, which is crazy.
So it's been a 3 year, I guess, all together. Ooh, I see what Isaac dropped in the private chat. Shall we touch on that real quick?
Like, okay, Isaac, you're gonna have to explain this one. I just see the message you sent in, guys. Quick pivot. So apparently, director Zack Snyder from Justice League, Batman vs Superman, and Man of Steel, recently the Army of the Dead, he's open to doing a Dragon Ball movie
Or an anime movie in general.
Nope.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I do not want the Dragon Ball IP touched in any sort of live action fashion ever again. Nope.
Okay, he says, quote, he said, definitely, I would do an anime remake or live action. That would be fun because I love animation and I watch a ton of anime with my kids who's too young to watch it, but we watch it anyway. Laughs. Haha. So, yeah, he's really just open to doing one in general, not just Dragon Ball, huh?
Yeah.
So if he would do an anime slash manga live action adaptation of manga, what would you pick and why?
Ooh, Zack Snyder doing as a movie. Jujutsu Kaisen, I think, would be a pretty good fit for him. Honestly, if we're talking like something a little more modern, I don't think anybody should ever attempt Dragon Ball again. I think we should just bury that, just like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yep.
I mean,
honestly,
it must be worse than Evolution.
Besides Rurouni Kenshin, I can't think of an anime live action adaptation that I just really love. You know what? Okay, maybe if he was on these, you know what? Nope. I was gonna say maybe Cowboy Bebop.
That one's already being done anyway.
Yeah, I just thought of it. It was Netflix, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know about that, y'all. But I don't know. I guess he could pick up one, but I would like it to be a smaller series. Don't do like a Naruto or a One Piece. Like, nope. Just don't mess with them big, large IPs. Do like something smaller, like a Psycho Pass or something.
Berserk.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Oh, yeah, I think I'd like that.
That would be up his wheelhouse, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. The problem with adaptations, specifically with anime, is that anime is a very specific medium where I don't think the crossover will work as well. Like even My Hero Academia, which is one of the more westernized, type of anime being about superheroes, it's still way out there compared to Young Justice, right? Or Teen Titans. And so that would be a little harder to adapt. So you got to be really picky. Like Cowboy Bebop's one of the few anime I think can make a good, carryover to live action, especially Western live action. Like this would be made in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
But so some things need to stay in the medium they're in. Not everything needs to become live action. Just leave anime alone. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, some stuff
could
just
work,
let it
some
be.
not.
Full Metal Alchemist, nope.
That movie sucks.
Yeah, it does.
The live action Bleach movie is pretty good though.
Still, I'm still, I don't know. I'm still hurt. I just all the ones that have been so bad. I can't give that one a chance, man.
I mean, also Live Die Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, based on a manga.
Is it though?
Yeah. So, Alita Battle Angel.
Alita was actually pretty good.
I loved Alita, actually.
Yeah, that was actually really solid. It can work. It's like video game movies, though. For every Sonic, there's a Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that.
Man, Alita needs another.
That movie, and I love that movie, ironically.
Alita?
Yeah, the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's just so bad it's good for me.
Oh, the live action one? Oh, God.
Guys, I'm trying to figure out how to easily transition back to My Hero Academia from this, but I don't think we can. So
I can just cut this one out and just put a pivot timestamp or something. You need to help me decide where. But anyway, let's continue with My Hero.
So, manga chapter, we all agreed is good. It's going into a new direction for the series. It's kind of weird. And yeah, it's just kind of weird to me that the anime is very Class A heavy right now, right? With that Class A, B training arc. And then they're nowhere to be found in the manga. So, again, like we said before, they kind of like to have them correlate. So with My Villain Academia taking place over the next couple of weeks, and we not seeing the kids, I wonder if that means in the manga they'll start popping up.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might.
Yeah. So, you guys have any other thoughts on MHA or, I guess, Zack Snyder's live action animes? Otherwise, we could wrap this one up.
I think we could wrap this one up.
Good.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, Leo. It's a pleasure doing these with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, guys. Great episode. Love this My Hero Academia discussion. Man, I know I brought this up earlier, but come on, My Hero. We need a time skip, man. It's at least a year, man. Just 1 year.
The thing about the time skip, I would have agreed with you coming off of where we are in the anime. With the manga, what do we even do with the time skip? Like he's gonna have to fight All For One relatively soon, right? Within the next couple months. After that, where does the series go? Because you run into a situation of, again, bringing up Naruto, Madara and Kaguya. All For One is a Kaguya level threat. What do you do after that?
They do so that it continues 5 years in the future. The hero students have gonna get kids, and after a while, and they have some Boruto-esque spin-off.
Which is why we don't want a time skip. No, but seriously,
I want a time skip, y'all.
no, but it goes back to my question of like, how do you top All For One? Because if the series wasn't like he's the end game, he's the Thanos of this story, and Deku's power is increasing to combat that, who does Deku fight after All For One, where he can't just like flick his fingers at 80% and kill them?
I mean, damn, good point. Like 80%. If he flicks his fingers at 100 guys, this is gonna be like a shockwave across the city, dude. Like,
exactly. So that's my problem. Like, I like the idea of seeing them older and more mature, but it's just if they didn't say he has to fight All For One, like they're not actively looking for All For One, I'm cool with it. But Deku's looking for All For One. All For One's looking for Deku. They're gonna meet up within the next month or so in the timeline. What do you do after they fight and after Deku, assuming wins, unless he loses? Like, you could always turn it where he loses the quirk and he has to figure out how to fight quirkless. That might be something you can do at a time skip. But aside from that, I don't know.
I mean, who knows if he's gonna win this battle, guys? Like, is he ready for All For One? I mean, it would take him and Bakugo. Sorry, Isaac.
Yeah. Honestly, okay. Sorry. Go on.
Nah, you're good.
Good. I was thinking just thematically. The only one I could see being the end villain, depending on the execution, could be Shigaraki, depending on where they go with them.
Mm-hmm.
If he decides to give him sort of major boost or something.
Yeah, because isn't Shigaraki not complete?
Yeah, he's at like 70%, I think, which
So
is
what
why
if
we don't
all
see
for
them.
what if All for One is like the wall between completing Shigaraki and Deku getting to him, and then that is like the final guy.
That could work. Like I want a time skip to happen. It feels like the story kind of made it where that wouldn't happen. But if you can, like you guys are saying, break it up to where we fight All for One, but then the main boss is Shigaraki, that can work. It's just Deku unlocking Fajin. That's his last quirk. He's kind of maxing out now. Once he can up his percentage. And so I know we've referenced Naruto like 4 or 5 times today, but it's like once Naruto got Sage Mode and Six Paths Mode, there was nowhere else for him to go. It kind of feels like Fajin is that last step before Deku can get to 100%.
But that's what I'm saying. Is he gonna get to 100% in the next 100 chapters? Like,
I would think not, but he unlocked like 4 quirks in the span of 10 chapters.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. This would have been a good opportunity for a time skip here.
Yeah, it would have. Like when we all thought we had a time skip, right? When Deku, it shows us like 2 months later or whatever, and Deku's working alone. That would have been a good time to say 2 years later, right? But
yeah,
since it didn't, I don't know.
You put some time on this, like, oh, he's been working alone for 2 years. Then it'll be a lot bigger. It would have been a lot bigger emotionally if Bakugo did catch up to him. It was, was like, where have you been?
Yeah, that would have been optimal. I just don't know how we could work the time skip in now at the point of the story. We missed our window is essentially what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. I hate it.
Depends on, honestly, it all depends on if Shigaraki becomes the true end villain or not, in my book. If All for One is the main villain, then there's no way in Hedgehog that we're getting a time skip, but if it turns out that Shigaraki becomes the main bad guy for some plot twist reasons, then I could see a time skip happen.
I feel like Deku's gonna save him because of that promise he's made.
Yeah, he never goes back on his word, right?
Naruto.
I mean, this is pretty cynical, I know, but if sometimes death can be the only salvation, so.
Yeah, I can see what you mean there. Regardless, even if Shigaraki ends up dying, I think Deku's still gonna appeal to his heart, right? To where his spirit changes before he dies. Kind of like how Naruto did to Obito and literally everyone else he fought in Shippuden.
Literally every villain would just be like, oh my god, I said it all wrong until like Pain, I mean until I met you, I viewed the world this one way.
It was honestly satisfying that Madara didn't do that.
Right. It's like somebody has to die evil here. Like somebody just has to just straight up go out and be like, no, I'm evil, bruh. Like
it's like after Itachi and Obito and Nagato, it's just like, okay, sure.
Oh man, and then we got to freaking Kaguya, and that's when stuff started just getting all over the place to me.
Yeah, that's why I don't blame Boruto as much as you guys, because I'm like, the seeds started in Naruto. It ain't Boruto's fault 100%.
God. Boruto, I refuse to continue. Nope. Oh no. After I seen a visual or a scene, I guess, of Naruto absorbing a jutsu, I was like, I'm done. Nope.
And this in this episode is off the rails, and I'm not even. And it's not because of pun of me. What is this?
You're slipping, man. You're slipping. You got to get back into top shape when Brandon comes back.
Yeah. Maybe I'm saving up for when he comes back.
Oh, God. I do not envy him. Okay. Leo, what you got up your sleeve this week? What can we expect from you? What you up to?
So I will be reviewing and reacting to Loki. That's coming up this week. I'm actually about to check that out tonight. See how it is. I've been seeing some good things about it on Twitter. What else I got coming up this week? There'll be more trailer reactions, and I'm working on some first-time watches, but my editing is super backed up right now, just moving jobs and switching computers, so I'm having to move a lot of stuff over. So I'm a little behind, but man, I'll be doing that. Also, a first impressions video on Miles Morales. What a game, guys. What a game. But y'all come on over to youtube.com/Geekly Goods, and we'll see you there.
Can't wait. I love Miles Morales. It's a little too short, but it is definitely better than Spider-Man PS4 or PS5, if you will. Great game. Can't wait to see what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, man. I'm so far really, really good. I'm doing like so many side missions though, so I am milking the game.
It's the only game where I think I could 100% the side missions. That's how much fun I was having.
So fun.
Isaac, where can people find you? What you up to?
Well, you can find me over at Emblemaniac, like you see on my name there. You can also find my work at Wobamentertainment. Hopefully, before this year is over, I will have my book published. I'm just having changed this, changed that, and you know how it all is. Maybe I should fix that. I'm in that kind of period, but in essence, that book is done.
Nice.
And tomorrow, my Famicom Detective review is finally going to be published. And I heard that it is scheduled for Monday. And I'm soon going to have a review finish for Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. So look forward to that. And yeah, that game is a mindfuck.
Yeah, what you've been telling me before the recordings sounds wild. Can't wait to see what your thoughts are on that one and checking out your reviews and stuff you got coming out this week. Looking forward to it. Guys, you can find the co-host of this show, Brandon Alvarado, on Twitter at TheScarletFan52. He will be back soon. Trust us. He's also writing at Wobamentertainment.com as well. So make sure you give him a follow. As for me, I am at Novice Cinephile on Twitter and on YouTube. We've been talking Naruto this entire episode. I have a Naruto video coming out the day this episode goes up. So I'll give the link to Isaac. He can probably put it in the card here somewhere for you guys. And yeah, we are going to be reviewing In the Heights soon over on my podcast, Mike and John at the Movies. So when you guys see In the Heights this coming week, great movie. Look out for the podcast. Isaac, where can people find the Amateur Otaku?
Well, you can find us at Amateur Otaku Pod on Spotify, iTunes, you name it. And I need to update that part though, because I recently got, since Brandon asked me on it, but I keep on forgetting that. You can also find us at the Twitter at Amateur Otaku Pod, where I at times put some shit posting anime related and some cryptic tweets on what we are covering soon.
Yeah, Isaac's tweets over at the Amateur Otaku Pod are hilarious. And sometimes out of context if you don't listen to these episodes, like a certain GIF he posted the other day. All right, but thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you next week for episode 100 in chapter 316. Go Beyond plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra.